Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do my Pan Nose eyeshadows update. This is my second update for the year, and I did a somewhat successful Pan Nose eyeshadows last year, and then I switched it up when we moved. And yeah, my version of it is a little bit like a Pan That palette, Pan Nose eyeshadows, 1 month, one palette, although I have 2 palettes this month and I rotate it every month. So it's a little bit of a mixture of a lot of different projects, but it did stem from the Pan Nose eyeshadows project that we all know and love. So basically I have 2 focus shades for each of the palettes that I have randomly selected, and I want to use all of the shades at least once during that month. Obviously I would love to hit a pan, and I have hit pans again, which is really exciting, but it's not like the main focus. That's why I'm rotating it every single month, because I really need the variety. I cannot use one eyeshadow for 4 months straight and just one shadow in that palette. So yeah, I don't know if I've explained that properly, but if you see my previous videos, then you know what I'm doing, and I'm just going to get stuck in. So I have been panning these two. I don't really want to spoil you, but the Yasmin palette from Myali Beauty, and also the Retro Paradise palette from OFF. And I will start with the Yasmin palette. So this one, I'm really quite happy with this one, but I have been working on it for about 2 months now, because I had it in my Shop My Stash, and then I had it in my Child of the 80s project, which it still is. I haven't filmed that update yet. And then I put it in my Pan Nose eyeshadows project. So this is well loved. I really do like this eyeshadow palette, but I'm very much ready to put it back into my drawers and pick something new. So I will show you what it looked like last month when I started this project. Obviously I have used this quite a bit. There were dips in the shimmers, but the matte shades I have used so many times, especially Trunk and Bark, and there is no dip in those whatsoever. And yeah, sadly, I still don't have a pan in this palette. This is what it looks like now. It's definitely been used. I'm going to get up close and personal because I just cannot see, and I'm using my camera to see what I'm looking at. But yes, I have used every single shade, which is what my goal was. And sadly, I did not hit a pan in any of them. I had Munasa as a focus shade, and I also had Uzma as a focus shade. You can see Munasa definitely has more of a dip. I did try to hit pan on that one. I'm very close, but at the same time, I didn't want to force myself if it wasn't going to happen. And this one, yeah, it's just kind of a standard shade, so I didn't really go into it too much. I'll just go through my usage. So this shade here I used 3 times, Trunk I used 3 times, Bark I used once, Red Kite I used 4 times, Cardinal I used once, Uzma, as I said, was my focus shade. I only used it 3 times. That's pretty bad. I try to use my focus shades 5 times at least, but I did use other shades quite a bit, so those are coming next. But yeah, I didn't use that too many times. Flamingo I used twice. Zatoon I used twice. Aisha I used twice. This is so beautiful, this color. It's just stunning. I just, sometimes I put it on my lids and I'm like, wow. Oops. I put it on my lids and I'm like, wow, that's almost too stunning. It's kind of similar to what I'm wearing today, but just has a lot more impact. It's really, really beautiful. Really enjoy it. But yeah, I didn't use it too many times. Where am I? Sakina I used once. This one, what is this one? Adilla I used once. So I didn't really do many green looks, because obviously I would have used this one, and this one to do sort of a grungy green look, and I haven't done too many of those. So this next one, Munasa, was a focus shade. I did use it 7 times and I still did not hit pan. It actually looks a little pink because I think I had, I put a little pink in there, but it has a reflexive pink, like purpley pink. It's just not the best formula in terms of the shades in here. It's my least favorite, but I did try to use it, and I like to put it on top of other shades just as like a topper. It's really light and sheer. I definitely am going to hit pan at some point, but I'm happy to roll this out and just give something else a try. Nadia I used twice. Myali I used once, and then Annie I used 4 times. These 2 shades are my favorite, but I definitely dipped into Annie a little bit more. So that one I am officially going to say goodbye because I just want to. So the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette, I already had a pan in this first one here, and I'll put a picture of what it looked like before. It's definitely a palette that I've always enjoyed as soon as I got it. It's my favorite e.l.f. palette that I have and tried. I think the formula is really good. I think the color story is fun. It's got a lot of neutrals, which I love, but then it also has the pop of color if you want to do color. And I think just the quality is pretty good. So yeah, this one I really was excited about when it rolled into the project because I sort of knew that I was going to hit pan on at least one of the shades because the shades are pretty shallow, and I just know that this type of formula I can hit pan in. So yeah, I have hit pan. This is what it looks like right now. I hope you can see from the glare. Yeah, there you go, you can see. So this one I already had a pan in, but I have a pan now in this one, which was my focus shade. It's one of the focus shades in this palette, which is called Sea Salt. And you can see it's very similar to the one in my Myali Beauty palette. So I was kind of going between one or the other, but yeah, I have a juicy pan there. I also have a pan in this shade, which I really like, which is Fortuna. So hopefully you can see that little silvery pan there. These two, I didn't go in too much, but this one I can definitely hit pan in next. It is there, and I could have, if I forced myself, I probably could have. But then this one I also hit pan in, which is the most stunning shade. And I didn't realize this was such a beautiful shade, but I just love this shade. It's like this goldy red with a flecks of green. It is so beautiful. I just put this on the lid and nothing else. And you can see it's got so many different colors. I don't know, I think it's a multi-chrome, but it's really beautiful. So I hit pan on that one too because I was really enjoying it so much. So yeah, I thought I was going to hit pan. Actually, I did think I was going to hit pan in that one. I thought I was going to hit pan and disco when I rolled this in, and I wasn't really sure about the rest. I don't think I thought I was going to hit pan in this one, but this is a very creamy formula. I mean, it's not a cream shadow, but it's pretty creamy. So that was really easy to hit pan on. This one's a little bit stiffer, so it took a little bit longer. But anyway, I'll get into my usage. So this first one, you can see I extended it. I used that 6 times. Sandy Bum, I used 3 times. Rise and Shine, I used twice. I've never really been drawn to this, but every time I use it, it's really, really beautiful. So it is stunning. It's just, sometimes I just don't want to do a gold look. Spiced, I used once. Paraiso, I used 4 times. I think I hit pan on the 3rd time because I just used it the other day and I'd already had pan in it, or maybe I just forgot to track usage. But yeah, I think I hit pan on it actually pretty quickly. I don't know how I did it. Coconut, I used twice. This Dijon shade was my focus shade. So as you can see, and you would have seen in my previous video, these 2 shades and the 2 focus shades in my Yasmin palette are very, very similar. So I didn't really have a lot of variety to focus on, and I think I focused on them all together. So Dijon got kind of neglected. I only used it 3 times, and I used the other shade, the Uzma shade in the Yasmin palette 3 times. So technically it's 6 times. I kind of feel like that's a win. Sea Salt, I used 6 times. So this one I definitely hit pan, and then I used it a couple more times. I'm not entirely sure how many times I used it before I hit pan, but it wasn't the full 6 times. It's very, very flaky shade. It's nice. I actually prefer this shade over the Yasmin palette shade. I think this one just looks a little bit nicer. I think the Yasmin one is a little bit too sheer. This one just has a little bit more of that wet look, and I really, really enjoy it. Fuego, I used how many times? Once. Sip Sip, I used once. Bajama, I used once. This Tropicana, I used twice. This Caliente, I used once, right? Yeah. Cocoa I used twice. Fortuna I used 3 times, and I think I hit pan on the 3rd time. So that was kind of interesting. And then Royal I used once. Disco I used twice. So if I used it a little bit more times, I definitely would hit pan. And then Nightlight I used once because it's a black and I don't really like using blacks. So I made myself use it. But yeah, I think out of all of the eyeshadow palettes I have, this palette now has the most pans in it. I've got 4 pans, which is not a huge amount, but I've never done like a pan that palette or anything. And I usually just have like 1 pan or maybe 2. And I'm quite happy that this is full. It is loved, it looks loved, and yeah, I'm excited about that one. Okay, so last month I used the random number generator to select 2 palettes from my list. I have new palettes that I need to add to the list, but I just haven't done that. I think this time I'm going to randomize 1 palette, and depending on what that palette is, I will then select the second one, because I don't want to roll in 2 palettes that are very similar to each other, or a palette that I know really well. I really want to roll in a new palette that I've never tried before, because I have a few of those and I feel really bad. So I really want to roll in something like that. So yes, I'm going to roll once, see what it is on my little spreadsheet, and then I will figure out what I want to do next. So I'm just got 555 shades in my spreadsheet. Whatever shade like is chosen in that palette, that will be the one of the palettes, and then I will re-roll for my 2 focus shades in that palette, if that makes sense. So let's just start. Okay, 540. I think that's going to be a new palette. It's really up there. So let me just see what that is. If it is a new palette, then I might just roll again and sort of play with fate. I don't know. I think, yeah, let me just see what that is. Okay, so the palette that was chosen is the Wild Child from ColourPop. I actually have used this before, but I think maybe only 3 times. It's pretty brand new. It did come a little bit scratched up, but you can see I've barely used this. I don't really know what to do. I'm going to obviously keep this in and use every single shade at least once. Let me roll again. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what they want me to pick. If I don't like it, I'm just gonna pick a palette of my own. So yeah, let's just decide. Let's see. 220. Okay, let me see what that is. I don't think it's gonna be a new palette. And if I don't like that, if I just don't feel that one, then I know what palette I'm going to pick. But yeah, give me another moment. Okay, number 220 is actually from my Blue Moon palette from ColourPop. This is already in a project. I've been using this for the last 2 months. It looks pretty used at this point. I really enjoy it, but I am not going to put it in this project. I know what palette I want to use, so let me just grab that and show you. Okay, so I have shamelessly had this in my collection since December, the beginning of December, and I have not used it. I've looked at it because it is so pretty, and I've just been waiting for the time, and I think the time is now because it's coming up to spring, and I think it's a very beautiful palette for spring. So I have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde. I want to roll this in. I want to see what I can do to it. It is absolutely stunning. There's a lot of neutrals here, but there are also a lot of shades that I feel like are bright and light, and I like that for spring. And there's obviously color. So yeah, this one is so beautiful. I've been like waiting to go into this and have an excuse to use it, because it's one of those palettes that I've been eyeing for years and years, and I finally got it a few months ago because it was on sale, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna bite the bullet, I'm just gonna get it. And it is absolutely stunning. Haven't even swatched it, so it is definitely a new item. And I'm excited for the Wild Child because I actually don't really have really good opinions about this. I kind of feel as though it was a little bit of a letdown. I had some high hopes for it. I know Steph Lyons really likes it, and usually I like what she likes, but this one I think is just a little bit dark for me. I'm just not into dark eyeshadow, and I think this one just a little bit on the darker side. But I think the two together might be a nice complement, simply because the Mercury Retrograde doesn't have a lot of deep shades. So it might be nice if I'm going to do like a neutral look. I can obviously pull in some neutrals from this palette, like some pinkies and some of these lighter neutrals down here, and then I can use a deeper shade in here, maybe. All right, so now for my focus shades. I haven't filmed in a while, so I do feel a little bit like I don't know what I'm doing, or I just feel out of practice. Okay, Wild Child has 9, so I'll do 1 out of 9. And let's see what my 2 are. Oops. All right, 1 out of 9. So 5 and 7. Let's have a look. So yeah. Okay, so number 5 is this glitter in here. I want to use every single shade at least once, so I'm going to keep that in. But that's kind of annoying that I have such a glitter as a focus shade. And then number 7 is, actually no, number 7 is this one, which is Hard to Get, which actually was the shade that I originally rolled to find this palette. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, these will be my focus. I'm going to use every single shade at least once with those 2 shades. Hopefully 5 times, but as you know, I have not been very good at that. Don't think I'm going to hit any pans in this. It is a newer palette to me. So unless I go absolutely wild, I mean, I think the one that I'll use the most is probably this shade, Fierce. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Okay, next on the Mercury retrograde, I'm going to do 1 out of 18, and I'll do that twice. So we have 6 and 18. Okay, so 6 will be this one over here. So that's kind of exciting. That's an interesting one for me to play around with. That shade is called Haze. And then number 18 is this last one, which is so stunning. Oh, I should swatch them, right? Should I swatch them? I don't know. I kind of just don't really want to. I want to take a picture of it without it being swatched because I haven't swatched it. So what I've found with Huda Beauty shades is I kind of struggle panning them or making a dent in them. I have the Desert Dusk, which I really enjoy, and I use that in my pan those eyeshadows, and there was hardly any dent in any of those shades, and I really did use them. I have also the Naughty Nude. I haven't used that as much, but this one I think I'll probably enjoy a little bit more. So I'm actually really excited about this. I've been waiting to roll this into this project, and I knew that if it wasn't rolled, I would roll it in anyway because I just don't want to miss out on wearing it for spring, and I just think it's a beautiful time to wear those colors. So yes, that is my update for my Pan Those eyeshadows. I'm going to be working on these 2 palettes for the next month. Let me know down below what you think of the update. If you think I'm going to hit pan on any of these, I really am not. But if you can come up with maybe some looks, that might be cool. Also, if I'm not already following you and you're doing a similar thing like this project, or you're just doing the regular Pan Those eyeshadows, let me know, because I'm always trying to find new people to follow because I really do like this project. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you next time. Bye.